Welcome to the video. This is my 1972 Ford Maverick Grabber. It's got a 302 in it. Used to be a drag car back in the day. I found some information, papers in here and whatnot. Pulled out of the junkyard about a year ago, and I think I saw a gas receipt from '92. And from all the other information I found on this, it really seems like it's been early '90s since this thing was driven. So 30 years, and let's see if we can cut the curse on the old '72 Grabber. Oh, I'm excited, but also very nervous. Fuel isn't going to leak out because I always seem to forget to reconnect the line. Oh, and my tank isn't working very well, so I got hooked up to a jug. Well, I just have the line hooked into the jug. Oh, I just got a new tank, and it's a lot deeper, and I don't think the pickup's working. Fuel line's not leaking. I rebuilt the carburetor as well, so we shouldn't have any problems with that. Oh, this thing sounds so much better than what it did before. Holy crap. I think I'm going to have to mess around with the timing a little bit. Oh, that thing sounds mean. But I'm going to try to get it firing decent. I'm going to put a little more timing in it. Dang, that's awesome. I've been waiting on this for months now. Oh, that's so exciting. Oh my gosh, that thing sounds mean. I had oil on the plugs. I had some down cylinders compression-wise. The oil pressure is good. The return on the ignition isn't there, so I have to turn it back, and I'm forgetting to. You can hear the starter sounding pissed off. Yeah, I think it wants some more juice from the battery. Holy crap. This is crazy. I see all sorts of smoke coming up. The temp gauge doesn't work on this car, of course. It's not showing super hot. I just think it's burning stuff off. That was pretty sweet. Very sweet. I'm excited. Oh. Dang. Yeah, I probably don't want to run this too long because, like I said, I don't know how much water is really circulating because half of it seemed like it leaked out of the thermostat. But dang. It's beginning of September, mid of September. Actually, dang, we're getting to the end of September. But it must have been like June or maybe early July when I first tore the motor apart. I was just going to take a look at the push rods and all that because it seemed like when we were down compression really hard on number 4, and then we were low on a couple other cylinders. And then after I did that and I didn't find anything, I ended up pulling the heads off. And I didn't notice anything in the beginning. I ended up dumping some water in the head, and I saw it was seeping out on cylinder number 4. Which was the bad one. That one was sitting at 70 psi, where everything was at 120, and then but every single plug had oil on it, so I knew I wanted to do rings. So I ended up taking the pistons out because I said screw it, and I put new rings in it, new bearings. I didn't go super crazy. There's probably more stuff I should have did, but honestly, I'm into this car right now for $3,500. I don't want to put a bunch of money into it. I only put a couple $100 into rebuilding the motor, gasket kit, rings, bearings. I bought new lifters, and then I feel like I bought something else. I bought a high pressure oil pump. Then obviously miscellaneous stuff like oil, oil filter, paint. I bought a new thermostat housing, a rebuild kit for the carburetor. But I'm not into this car for a lot of money. I only paid $2,000 for it, but it seems like the car runs again, so that's pretty sweet. After you guys saw me get the motor running, I'm now focusing on brakes. I got them bled a decent bit. I had to go back in and put, they didn't have any of these self-adjuster stuff in there, so this return spring in the bottom was very loose. But it's all good now, and I'm going to go do the other side. And then I'm trying to get the car moving today, and I've been dealing with this gas pickup problem for a while now, and that's how I was running out of the tank. And I freaking just drained a bunch of gas on the ground. But the pickup, the bottom of it was flush with the bottom plastic piece right about there, and it didn't let any gas in, so I freaking cut all the filter up and just ingested about half a gallon of gas. But it'll actually suck now, which is cool. But that was giving me the biggest problem forever. I was going under there and I thought the breather was freaking pinched, and it was, but that wasn't the problem. Just gotta zip the tank back up, fill this back in. Oh yeah, that was a clean pass. As you can see, we got her moving. First time in 30 years. It was pretty fun. I wish I could have gotten on the road in this video, but I ran out of time. It's getting cold outside. And this thing, well, one, doesn't really want to run in the cold. Two, there's a couple of things I got to figure out before I want to get on the road. Even though brakes feel good, I mean, I honestly could probably make it on the road. The transmission's being a little bit funky. I'm kind of curious to see that when that warms up, if we can have some more success with that. But it was pretty fun. I'm excited. I got to do a whole bunch of crap on this. I'm going to end up doing all the metal work, all the paint work, electrical, interior, and that's kind of the goal for the wintertime. So the car doesn't have any floors in it. I went to do some interior work, and I found out that the floors are no good in this car. And we had to go through and fix them without being able to get the proper floors because this car is a little bit odd. And I didn't want to spend the money, so we're going to take you through that process right now. It's getting cold out here, and there's some NFL playoff football I got to watch. Out here working on the floors today. I was supposed to be doing wiring. I got everything all set up, all the wires cut out. I took the carpet out, and I realized the floorboards are really, really rough. I knew there were some holes like this in this area. I believe I saw most of this. When I wire wheeled it up, it got a little bit bigger, which it usually does. I didn't notice any of the crap in the back, and then that side over there has got some decent bit of rust. So I went and ordered some floors. This is a 72 Maverick, and they don't make a ton of stuff for it in terms of replacement body panels. So I found floorboards for I think it's like a late 60s Mustang. And see if I can kind of show this. Pretty much the only difference between these and the new ones I bought in the actual floors. This is the front. This is inverted. Like this line on this one is on this side, which isn't a big deal. I think there's no indent on the transmission tunnel on the car. And then where the structure is for the unibody, there's no bump out, and on this there is. But the good thing is, all this structure is really, really, really solid. And I'm just gonna work around this front edge and get this front panel out on both sides, and then this back one, and it's like almost identical. So I should not run into any problems. And that extra metal I can pull out from the center of this, I'll actually use to patch the back. I could use normal sheet metal, but I already have that. I'm going to cut it up. Might as well use this. It's got a little more structure with the ridges and whatnot in it. Woo-wee! That took forever. Freaking drilling out these dang spot welds took way longer than I thought. That's only the problem I had. I ended up using the, where is that? The air hammer. Worked really well. I don't like drilling spot welds out. Much easier to use the air hammer. But while being in here, I think you obviously can see we ran into the fact that some of the main support is gone. And so I cut it out. I made a patch panel for it. Plan is to spot weld everything in. And pretty much now I'm going to do some welding. I'm excited. Boom, finished the floors. They're looking pretty good. Pretty sturdy, they ain't going anywhere. I welded the, oh shoot, that's blocking the light out. I welded the bottom plate for the support in first, then I welded the actual floor, and then I used that sheet metal that I made up and welded that in the top just to cover the little gap I had up there. Everything looking good. Had to do a little bit of manipulating since the floors aren't 100% the same. And also the fact that I didn't have the floors all the way up here, like I had to bash these in a little bit just so they would line up. And then the down here, I had to cut that and hammer it just so it would line up right on the support. And ran the spot welds all the way up through on the main support. Give it as much structural rigidity as possible. It looks pretty good. I painted it, but I got to do that front side. That's the big one. That's what I'm going to work on right now and roll into it. Just spent like a couple hours cutting this out because these dang spot welds are annoying. and I get up to the some of the structural support up there, and it's freaking toast. But that's all I got to do right now. Just got the bucket welded in. Had to do up 2 pieces for it. Now I'm pretty much just ready for the floor. And boom, ready? It's in. Boom! It welded itself in. That looks good. Whoever decided to paint it is probably a bozo. It looks like crap. But let's see if this one will weld itself in. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Boom! It worked again. Let's see if we can do it on this side. Boom! These ones are in now. Now I just gotta... What the heck? Shut up! There we go. One of the last ones left. Ready? Boom! That was a bad throw. There's no way that was gonna work. Boom! Damn, I did it again, but this car door is getting in the way. Alright, I believe it this time. Boom! Looking good. Now we got the last floor panel to go in. Ready? 1, 2, 3. And it's all the way in. We got floors now! I'm gonna have to, I already cleaned them up a decent, but I'll clean them up a little bit more, vacuum it all out. And then I have some of the rust cutter that I've been using. I'll spray that on the floor. It's like $20 for this whole thing, and this thing this will cover enough surface area for 10 of these floors. And then I have just some normal Rust-Oleum paint that I'll spray over top, make it look nice and uniform, and then I'll seam seal everything. But I think that's all I got right now. All right, we're gonna see the painted floor and seam sealed floor right about. Boom! Floors are all in the front. Kind of already saw already. Those turned out really well, nice and solid. The back part of the car actually was meant to go right here in the Mustang. I was able to repurpose it for the back, which was perfect because I needed some panels back there. But overall, it turned out really well. Didn't have any real problems. The car is really solid. Looks good. All I need to do, I ended up seam sealing it. I don't think it's fully dry yet. I seam sealed it last night. But looks good. It's solid. And that's pretty much it for the bottom of the car. There's still a ton more metal work to do outside the car. And we're actually doing wiring, which isn't fun. Wiring and interior, so we're going to get the inside looking really nice. There's kind of a sneak peek. I already painted the dash a little bit. Back working on the 72 Maverick today. There's a ton of stuff I have to get done. Today, I really want to knock out the electrical. Not today. It's going to be a couple days. I got color laminated wiring harness diagram, which is so nice. And I actually have a generic harness. It was $100. It's labeled all right. I mean, some of these you cannot see what they say. Some of the lighter color ones, which is kind of annoying. But it's a generic harness. I'm gonna have to cut out this old one, splice into it. Hopefully all the connectors are good. Some of the specialty connectors I might not have, so hopefully those ones are good. I need power to the distributor. I have a temp gauge and then an oil pressure gauge. That's all that the motor needs. No relays for the fan, which I might eventually do. Right now it's just wired up to a switch, and then like none of the bulbs work right now. The inside dash, actually, I don't have the battery hooked up, but some of the dash lights will turn on. The windshield wipers will turn on. The stereo will light up, but it won't work. Now that could be because the speakers don't work or aren't hooked up. But as you can see, there's all sorts of just horrible wiring, which is kind of the nature of some of these old cars, which is annoying. But it shouldn't take too long to go through. The big thing is the dash is always a pain in the butt because there's not a lot of room in there. So I'm going to take the seats out, and that's the first thing I'm going to knock out today. I also have new steering column for it. Well, a new to me steering column. Came off a 66 Mustang. I'm not sure if it'll work, but the one I have right now, the ignition for whatever reason won't return, and it's just a funky in a couple spots. So I kind of want to replace it if it's easy enough. The problem with that one is, the new one I have, is the ignition itself. I don't have the key for it, which means I'm going to have to drill and do a whole bunch of not so fun things. So I might end up keeping this one. I don't know. That's the main thing. And then the taillights, I think they actually worked. I don't think the blinkers worked. And then the side markers, I might end up pulling those out and filling them with some metal, weld some metal in there, because I kind of don't like them. But that's the main thing. Just got to start knocking out the wiring, but the first thing is get the seat out. Boom! The seat's finally, oh, nope, it's not out yet. Is there any wires connected? They were at one time, but they're not anymore. This seat gave me such a pain in the behind. All the hardware was rusted. And this one right here, I don't know if you guys can see this right now. It was pretty funny. There was like part of the subframe was hooked up underneath the bolt. There's no way I was getting anything on the head of the bolt, but they didn't put a washer on it. So I just yanked it up through the hole in the floors, like the hole the bolt's supposed to go through, and it ended up coming out. But the seat wouldn't slide back, and I was able to get the other seat out, and I kind of look how the mechanism worked, because that one handle that was right here broke off. But got it out, got the other seat out. Yeah, I'll show you guys this. I cleaned this car out like at the beginning of summertime. Probably not even the beginning of summer, probably the middle of summer, and all sorts of mice got in it, which is really fun. I pulled where did it go? I had a mouse trap, and I had a couple mice traps in it. A couple confirmed kills, but got the seats out, got all the rest of the wiring pulled out, besides under the dash, because I was waiting for I had acetone ATF soaking on the bolts. But all the wiring up front's gone. The wiring in the rear is mostly gone, minus the fact that, oh, you probably can't see, it's going to be dark. I got my headlamp on, that works. This wiring runs through the interior, so I guess I could cut it and yank this out, but I'll probably end up doing that. That's pretty much the game plan. Strip the rest of the wiring out. I'm trying to get it done tonight. We're making progress, getting it knocked out, because this is not the fun part. Wiring's never the fun part, but it's going to make all the difference in the world in terms of safety and reliability and all that fun stuff. So I decided to take the carpet out because I was done rolling around in mouse crap. Got all the wires cut out. I'll show you that in a second. But if I can pull the carpet out, it is freaking horrible in here. I took the back seat out. That was the worst ever. I should have had a face mask on. I think I'm gonna a bunch of sound deadening down here. Old school. Ooh, there's a random wire. Where the hell did that go to? I'm gonna try to take this off separately. Why is it being so difficult over there? Oh, and I also found some bad news underneath the seat that I'll show in a second as well. Oh, ooh, that looks bad too. The one piece of good news, besides the seat being absolutely horribly dirty, the seats are in really good shape. Like really, really good shape. Pretty much got everything apart. I got all the wiring taken out of it. The carpet doesn't look, I mean, it's gonna need to be re-dyed, but it doesn't look horrible. Got all the interior stuff out for the most part, which you didn't have to do, but I was kind of tired of rolling around in the mice poop. There's no headliner, and I was thinking I can, because from what I've heard, you got to get a headliner in these, you pretty much have to take the windows out, which I don't want to do. Not pretty much, you have to take the windows out, and I don't want to do that, so I want to try to find a way around it. So I have some ideas, but that's not for right now. Right now, I just got to get the wiring knocked out. And I'm finally back to the wiring. I went to go do the wiring, and I cut up the floor, or I saw the floor, and it was horrible. So I cut it up, put new floor in. It's pretty much done. I have to seam seal it, but decided to jump back into the wiring. I got the whole back of the car wired up. It's dark. You can't see anything. I haven't loomed it, so I'm going to test it, make sure everything works, and I'll make it look nice and clean. And I was just about to finish up the front lights on the car. Got this side done, and I started working on this side, and I ran out of the solder connectors. All the ones, the green ones and the blue ones, are the most common size, and they're all gone, so I had to order some. It looks pretty good, but this took me way longer than I thought it was going to. We're now, however many days later, I'm pretty much done with the wiring inside the car. There's a couple small things. The blinkers I can't get to work, so that's the big thing I had to figure out. There's, like I said, a couple other small things. But we have the headlights here, and I discovered that one of the bulbs doesn't work. I went and I ordered some of the halo bulbs. They're only like $40 for a set, which ended up being cheaper. Well, probably similar in price to just buying a replacement one. But the cool thing about these, the halo is can be a blinker and a running light, and then I think the main headlights are in there. So with it being a running light and a blinker, I figured I can remove if I wanted to, the blinkers down here, the blinker and running light. Hoo-wee, we finally finished up the wiring. Hopefully it works. I guess we'll find that out later. Plan is to get it outside in the dark and get all the lights on, get the real good feel of it. But we can kind of take a look inside the car. But I guess we can just do a sneak peek. I already painted the dash, and it looks a lot better in there, but got the gauges in and all that. Took out the instrument cluster, painted that. But we're pretty much moving on, like I said, to the interior now. Progress on in the project. Vacuum the carpet, it looks pretty dang good for what it started off with. Now I just gotta hope the dye will actually dye it, because sometimes the dye won't dye it, which is kind of sucky because the dye is supposed to dye it. But the only problem we're gonna run into, and it's not really a problem, but there's still some mice dingleberries left on the edge, which kind of sucks. But it's gonna be underneath the back seat. So if you can't see it, that means it doesn't really exist. So I think we're good, and hopefully the dye does its thing. while I was waiting for the carpet to dry, I decided to spray some of the panels because it's just going to look better. And that's kind of how the one door panel turned out. It wasn't horrible, but it looks a million times better. This over here is how it started. So a major improvement. The carpet's looking pretty good. I'll have to do one more coat on it. But I was rolling over here. I was trying to figure out the seat. I figured out the problem was it just needed to be lubricated a little bit. But right here, I don't know if you can see, that's where the slidey part for the seat is supposed to, the handle is supposed to mount. And it completely snapped off. It is right about here. You can see the end of it snapped. So I was looking for a handle. So I was thinking about making a handle. And I was looking through my different bits and bobs of random scraps, and I came up with something, and I figured as long as I weld the nut in flush, geez, go in there, I can screw the screw in, and it will hold it nice and sturdy. So I think I'm gonna weld this up and get it mounted. I think I'll probably end up painting it black so it blends in with everything if it works. That's the most interesting project of this interior revival, I guess, and that's to see if that the cover I have for it, not the cover, but the vinyl will actually stick to it and look decent. There's that big hole in the back, and then there's a side one. There's one small one on the other seat too, so I'm gonna get to working on that, and we can actually see if it'll turn out decent and save me $750 on seat covers. Looking at putting the rest of the seats in, or the seats in, the front and back panels, the kick panels, the steering wheel, wait to put that in, make it a little bit easier to put the seat in. That's the game plan right now, and we can knock that out. We'll do a big reveal at the end. We'll get the car outside in the night, get to show off the lights. Looking pretty sweet. Can show off the head unit and the. I think you'll be a little bit surprised how good the like 30-year-old Pioneer speakers sound. I was pretty happy with it, and the mix with the $40 head unit. That's what we're rolling into right about now. Boom. The sound deadening on the roof is in. It looks pretty good. A little bit dark in there because I got everything taped up to paint the dash and in the back. But the sound deadening turned out looking pretty cool. That's not the point of it, but in the meantime, when I don't have a headliner, I could probably just paint this ridge line a little bit, and it'll actually look decent, which is nice. If no one's ever seen this before, it's pretty much the same no matter what brand you get. I like this brand. It's a little bit thicker than the other ones, and it's super cheap. Like I said, I think I got it on Amazon for like $45. But making some progress. The dash has got to go in. I got to paint the front and back, and I got to paint the doors, but we'll get to that when we get to that. One thing I want to show really quick before we do the final reveal is I'm actually making some panels for the back. And slide this in. It'll slide behind the plastic pieces, and it'll actually hold up. Get a nice reveal when it's all done, but I think it's going to work pretty well. I just have the adhesive I ended up using on the seats, the fabric. I'm just tracing out the backside, pulling it off, sticking it on. So I got to do the driver's side one next. Got the interior looking really clean. Ooh, obviously, there's still a ton of stuff I got to do and balance on the outside, but I even got the exhaust done. What you got to check out, that sounds freaking crazy. $30. It's a 2.5 inch, and it's a stainless steel. I thought it was a pretty good deal. I got some new collectors, but I don't know if they're gonna work, so we're gonna have to take a look at that. But there's enough in here to do probably 3 or 4 exhausts the way I'm gonna end up doing it, which is pretty sweet. Like I said, only $130, so got some hangers too in that box. I wasn't able to use the new flanges, but I got the old ones cut off, and this is kind of the general idea of the exhaust, minus like those aren't going to be there. They're going to be straight pieces, obviously, and then the back, they're just going to shoot. The goal is to have it shoot right out the side, right before the ladder bar. But again, my neck hurts. I'm cold, but we got the X pipe in. Well, it's not welded in, but it's lined up. And I was originally going to mark it and then pull it out, but I don't think that's going to work. It's really close, so I think I'm just going to have to hopefully not burn the shop down because I have cardboard under it and it's stuck underneath the jack stand. But I'm going to get a couple tacks on it and then pull it out and try to weld it all the way up and see where it goes from there. That are all welded up. You can definitely tell the difference between the like 2 fresh pieces of metal and the rusty and the fresh piece of metal. Definitely helps a whole lot if you prep everything right, but it'll hold. It looks all right. Like I didn't use like the stainless steel wire or whatever, so I'll have to I have some high temp paint I'm gonna shoot on it, but I'm gonna throw this back on the car. Hopefully everything fits. If not, that would really suck. And then we'll start getting those lined. Ooh, we got it smashed. It got it got a little more smashed than I really wanted it to. I got everything in place in here while roughing it up a little bit, and you can see that the passenger side's a bit shorter I kind of marked it off right about here, so I'm hoping I can cut that. And they'll be about even, and then I'm hoping the angle's right where I could just pop them right in here. But I'm gonna pop that out, cut it, and toss it back in, and if it looks good, I'll mark it up and I'll get it welded in. Even though I should tack it in first, but I think I'm gonna just try to weld it all the way in and just send it. And then I was looking at this, and which one of these, it's like almost a 45, that get it in here right about. We can actually send it out this way, and we can cock it where it's sitting like that, which I think will look pretty sweet. Probably get it pointed a little bit tight to the body, but it'll work because I want to get it behind the door so I don't burn my foot when I try to get in front of the ladder bar as well. I might end up pulling that off if it doesn't work, but I think we should be able to make it work. I just got to pop that piece off and then start tacking in and trying to get it looked at. Got the exhaust out. The tacks look pretty good. I'm end up welding the flanges on and the part of the X pipe, and we're just going to hopefully everything continues to line up. I don't think we have any problems. I almost thought about just doing the side exits as well while I was in there, but I want to try to take it a little bit slower. We'll get these in, and then we'll put it back in and then start marking that stuff out. We had a little bit of a problem right around here. In this whole range right here, we were hitting that transmission cross member. So we have to do the unforgivable thing on an exhaust, something I never like to do, but we're going to have to, even though I'm going to have to put my other hand down so I can actually get it, but we're going to have to flatten this out just a little bit, like a very small chunk. And got her all welded up. Turned out pretty nice. I'm going to clean them up and I'll get some paint on it. The only thing that kind of sucks is the splatter on the exhaust tips. It ain't horrible. Probably won't be able to see most of it. And I actually got some of this stuff that I put on there, which is supposed to reduce the splatter. So I think that one looks fine. That one's a little bit annoying, but not bad at all. The welds look decent. I don't think any exhaust is going to get through that. Overall, I'm really happy with it. Now we just got to put it in the car and, make the exhaust hangers for it or mount them. But then we get to hear a run, which I'm really excited for because I haven't heard the car run in months. I haven't started up all wintertime. And then we're going to turn around and freaking start it up straight piped with the X pipe. It's going to sound freaking legit. Cardboard makes this a whole lot easier. That wasn't bad. I'm sure it's going to be a million times worse putting it back in, but that's the first time I get to look at it. Looks pretty simple and small, honestly, when you get out of the car, but it does look pretty sweet. I can't wait to weld it up and toss her back in. Exhaust all tacked in the back, and man, those giant exhaust tips look freaking sweet. Got the tips welded in. I won't fully weld those. I'll get some more tacks on them, but I'm gonna blind it by the sun over there. Got these tacked in. It looks pretty decent. I got some decent clearance. I think I'll end up folding the pinch weld over a little bit just to give me a little more room, even though I think that'll probably be plenty of space. It's not gonna rattle. Although I did notice, it's really hard to see, but I noticed that the rear the transmission mount that I was banging the exhaust for before, that flat piece right in there, right about there, it's still gonna hit. So I actually have a new mount. Where is it at? Did I leave it in a box? It's over here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Because the old transmission mount was loose. I could not get it tight enough, and I think that's part of the problem. If you check out our next video, we're gonna actually try to get this thing on the road for the first time in 30 years. And there was some popping and putting into gear. I thought it could have been the U joints, and I replaced those, and I think they were worn a little bit. But anyhow, I'm gonna replace that, so when I'll have it out, I'll actually mess around with the transmission mounts. The dang, what the heck is it called? You know what I mean. And I'll cut it out, and I'll probably box it in a little bit. We just gotta clear up just a little bit of space in here. I already marked it up, so if we knock like a 1/4 inch out of it, and then we can box it back in, weld it in, throw it back in with the new mount in. It'll be all good to go. But I'm gonna pull this exhaust out now and fully weld it up. One step closer, and then I can just get it in there and I can mount the exhaust mounts. Man, that looks good. Can't wait to actually hear what it sounds like. First start, you guys get to see with the new exhaust in it. I just was messing around with the timing, so she's already warmed up. Hopefully she'll fire right up.
about as good as I could have asked for.
Back here, that's the step one before we even do any sort of body work, any sort of sanding, is get it straight, and so we don't nick any of that good looking stainless that's lasted 50 years. Dang, it's been like 2 seconds in YouTube time, but it's been like, I think three weeks I've been sanding this thing, and it's half in the sun and half not in the sun. I freaking some filler, rolled on some primer, sanded it, did some more sanding, rolled on some more primer, finally ready for more primer. I'm gonna roll the car in right about now, tape it up, get it ready for shooting some primer on it. It's pretty straight now. There's a couple like sanding scratches and whatnot. I'm hoping this the spraying of the primer will get out, and then the door jams, which are kind of be a pain in the butt to tape up. Kind of hoping that the primer fills it in a little bit. Just gotta roll it in, tape it up, and then shoot some primer on it. That's what I've been using. It's like a 1K cheap primer. Well, that doesn't really pick up on the camera. It's like a darker gray than what was on the car. Let's see if I can show it a little bit better. It's way watery than I expected. I don't know if that shows up on my camera. It's like a dark gray. But it's worked well. It's really easy to sand. I'm going to finally tape it up and get it sprayed, and hopefully soon actually get it painted. But I'll take you through that process now. It's all primered. I wish I got it outside. It's a little bit, well, it's kind of raining outside right now, but car looks straight as an arrow. There's a couple small things, just some sanding scratches, and I had a couple runs. Where are they? There's some of them right here. See with the light. Which ain't a big deal. I got to sand the primer down again anyhow, but we had quite a bit of work in there, some work in there, and then some work back there, and a little bit on the other side, and you just cannot tell. It doesn't look like there's any low spots. So like I said, there's some sanding scratches in some spots. I think there's some up here somewhere. Not really. It turned out really, really, really good. I'm super happy with it. Obviously, it's the first step in the process. But now that I got this done, I'm spending a couple more days sanding it, just get it as straight as possible. Finally, after a month of sanding, it was not fun at all, but I'm done. Yeah, look at that. Well, I'm done anyhow. There's no more sanding I want to do on this car. Like I said, it took me a month, so I'm going to roll the car out now, and I'm going to clean up the garage floor as much as possible, leave below it, freaking vacuum it, clean up the car as much as possible, because the plan is to paint it tomorrow. Tomorrow's supposed to be a good day for painting. It's supposed to be like 75 and sunny all day. So that's the game plan. We're going to get into it, and I got to start working because we're running out of time. Okay, I'm very excited, very nervous. We're about ready to paint. Paint the underside of the hood, and then obviously we got the bumpers up and in the way. Again, because there's not enough room to paint them all at the same time, so I'm going to try to do them in stages. Hopefully I don't get too much overspray in the car, because it'll add some more texture, but it can be a perfect paint job. You can see I got a tarp on the floor. There's dust in the corners. I painted it last year, and I had some pretty good success in the same garage, but it ain't going to be perfect. I mean, that's at the end of the day when you don't got a paint booth or a very clean garage, and you're kind of lazy like me. That's kind of the solution. I got the, like these are the surrounds for the headlights, right about there. I just got it hung from the garage door. We got the mirrors all ready to go. This is the plan. Like I said, I'm super excited, super nervous. With that all being said, I'm going to get set up the camera, and we're going to get spraying and get this stuff done, and then we can start working on the fun part. But first, got to knock this out. Finally ready. Got the wheel covers on, everything taped up. I used the prep ball over there, wiped it down multiple times, tack cloth, everything's good. Ready to paint. I gotta start mixing the paint up, but I want to show you, 'cause I forgot to show you the first time around. It ain't that big a deal, but the gun I'm using, it's a Kawamiami 4. I got it off Amazon. It wasn't cheap. It was like just shy of $200. And I have the 3M setup with the disposable cups, which is kind of nice. When I got it last year, I think they were the only brand that did it, and now there's a bunch of different ones, and it's way convenient, but it's a little bit more expensive. But I think from last time I shot the last car, my Triumph, which again, please check that one out. That was a good video. It didn't get the love it deserved. But anyhow, the gun makes a big difference when you don't know what you're doing. If you're good enough, you don't need a super nice gun, obviously. If you're doing high-level stuff, the better the gun, the better the project's still going to turn out, even if you're qualified and skilled. But it's going to help it, not an expert in this, but atomize and lay flatter, and it's going to give you an overall better job. Anyhow, I'm going to get the paint mixed up, and we're gonna get to spraying on it. Even though it's super windy out. I don't know if you can tell right now, but I picked like the worst day. It's just flinging stuff all over the place. I made a mistake. Didn't record the second half of the painting. That was the second coat, but to make up for it, boom. I already got bird poop on it, which kind of sucks. I wanted to let it outside and cure, but it's freaking, the color is sweet. See if I can pick it up. I don't know, it's kind of hard to tell. There's quite a bit of dust. So I got some stuff coming to wet sand. This is the good side. This side came out way flatter, and all of it came out pretty flat. This one is better than that side because I had that light going, and that light is super, super bright. So I was really able to see the wetness of it, and it came out really, really good. It came out good both sides. At the back of the car, too, because I had the sun coming in. I was able to really see it. But looks so much better. The paint was like $150, and I kind of in love with the color. Really sweet color. It's got a shine in it. I can actually see my reflection a little bit. You know, it's not perfect. There's obviously orange peel and, like I said, dirt, but man, bumpers out here. Although I was thinking like that might be too much gray, but it is what it is. I'm gonna obviously got the cool thing is you got the big center gas neck, which is nice and chrome, so it break up the color, and then you got the lights and whatnot. But the car looks super, super straight. I'm gonna obviously got to put the whole thing back together, and I don't know if I'll get the wet sanding in this video because it's gonna take a little while. I gotta wait for the car to cure, but I'm gonna wait for the rest of the day today, and then tomorrow I'll start putting it back together. I'm gonna need some extra set of hands for the bumpers, but man, I can't get over it. I was so excited yesterday. I was running all over the place. Super happy with how it turned out. Like I said, get back on it. I'll start putting it back together, and I'll show you guys kind of the finished product. I have to probably have to go back over the hood and one top of the front fender again with the buffer, but man, she is shiny. Came out way better than I was hoping to. I don't know if you can catch it in the light, but you can see I gotta hit the hood again, but pretty dang clear finish. I mean, there's a little bit of orange peel, but for this car in a single stage clear coat, plenty good enough. I'm pretty dang happy with the color. And you know, with the wet sand and buff, I got 99% of the dirt out. So, I mean, you put your hand on the surface and it's smooth. You don't feel any of it. Like on the spoiler, I didn't do it, and you can still feel some of the texture and see it, but most of the car, you know, some of the weird spots I didn't want to get to. Oh, this is perfect. Out of the sun a little bit. Man, I'm super happy with it. The wheels look good on it. I was debating about painting them black, but I decided against it. I'm super excited about the clean door handle, and I was washing it, and obviously the window felts did what they were supposed to do, which is exciting because I think that's part of the reason why there was so much, a good bit of rust in there at one point. Those felts were destroyed, and I don't know, just exciting. I'm very happy. I wasn't sure initially. Well, one, the headlights. I love the Halo headlights, but I wasn't sure about the bumper. I wasn't sure about painting the front and back bumper, paint matching them. It's either that or black, and I'm very happy that I paint matched them because I think the black wouldn't have blended in as well. Because there's not too much black, at least going down the side. So I think it definitely was the right call. The Grabber hood looks sick. Alrighty, well, this video definitely turned on its head. That motor's got a tick in it. I could fix it, but I got this one, and it should run well, except for had some overheating problems. There was some crap in the coolant passages. But yeah, I decided this is the motor I'm going with. Get that motor put together today. And then I got a run stand. I'm going to throw it on, make sure it doesn't overheat. If everything seems good, I have to cannibalize that motor a little bit. I just have to take the starter off and the flex plate and some of the accessory stuff. But as long as it works, that motor's going back in there. And we should be good to go. We had to swap a motor. That was a lot of fun. But it was all for one goal, to try to get this thing running and on the road for the first time since, I think, 1993. Dude, all the dust is coming from underneath the deck. My wheel isn't exactly lined up straight. style. Nope. It's weird freaking having old brakes. That about wraps this video up. We got her running, moving down the road, and that was exciting. I've had a couple projects for the last 3 years, and this is actually the first one I got to drive down the road, and it was so much fun. After all the suspension stuff we did, swap the motor, I got to do that with my brother, which was pretty cool. And it was cool putting a car that was, had all the cool race goodies in it from back in the day. Cool getting it back on the road since the 90s and giving it a fresh shot at life. And I'm gonna be enjoying the car for the rest of the summer. If you liked it, subscribe and keep an eye out. We got plenty of other cars we're working on. That's a whole lot of fun. Thank you for watching.